Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel Talks with A. My name remains Mrs. Daughter Otu, coming your way with yet another interesting and exciting episode on this channel. I'm always excited to have you with me. So glad that you are there, listening and watching me week after week. And I must say that this channel has been a tremendous blessing to me personally, because I discovered that every episode that I run on this channel challenges me to be a better person. And I truly believe that the same goes with you. So it will be nice for us to rub minds. It will be nice for you to get across to me with your feedbacks. In fact, the other day, someone called me up and was trying to book a counseling section with me, and we're not able to come by the time that will be suitable for her and myself. But later she called to say that I stumbled on one of your episodes, and it addresses the issue that I wanted to talk to you about. So the counseling section might not be necessary because you actually counseled me with that episode. So I think I'm okay now. I was very glad to hear that. And I want us to know that, like I said from the beginning of this channel, that this is not a talk show. I don't intend to do a talk show or say things that are not realistic. I don't want to say things that are not practicable, that are not impactful. So please have an open heart. Anytime you come on this channel with me, just have an open heart to be impacted. And I want to believe that when you are impacted, you'll be able to impact others. And I want to also say welcome to every subscriber. The old ones, you have done so well, and I also welcome the new ones. Thank you for believing in this channel. And the Bible says a king's honor is in the multitude of people that surrounds him. What that simply means is that no matter what you think you are, who you think you are, what you think you know, except there are people willing to listen, it will be of no use. And so I'm grateful. You are the ones that have made this channel what it is. So I'm grateful. Thank you. On today's episode, I want us to discuss a topic that I titled The Toxic Trap of I'm Right. Simply how claiming right of way damages relationships. When you hear right of way, you quickly remember your driving test, okay? While they tell you your right of way and so on. So I'm talking about a situation where in a relationship we are always claiming right. The two parties are always claiming right, always saying I'm right, you are wrong, I'm right. When you go about your relationship in that way, you can just see and even feel the toxicity of the relationship. It becomes very toxic. And whenever we have that tendency of always wanting to have the last word, we're exhibiting a character that people can call narcissistic behavior. Narcissistic behavior simply means that someone wants to be in control, someone wants to be domineering, someone just wants to feel more important than the other person, someone wants to always be heard. So I don't want you to be a narcissist in your relationship. When you are always arguing and holding on to your own point of view without considering your partner, I think you are going to become a narcissist. Before you know it, you'll be termed to be a narcissist. And you know what I discovered? Before now, there are some English languages that we have not come by, but we just see people acting in that way. Now that we have names, to call such behaviors, you will not be proud to discover the interpretation of your behavior. Because for you to be called a narcissist, I don't think it's a virtue. I don't think it's something that you want to be called by. So what am I trying to say on this episode? I have seen over time how these tendencies have destroyed beautiful relationships that would have blossomed into something beautiful and enduring. I want to advise that being right does not mean that you will damage your relationship. Holding on to what you think is right in every conversation, you're always right. You are not listening. You don't want to hear anyone's point of view. In fact, people that have that tendency always want to be the center of attraction. They want to be heard, they want to be appreciated, they want to be seen, they want to be in control, they want to dominate every conversation and everything that is happening. There are a lot of such behaviors that are seen in both men and women. And so marriages and relationships are not enjoyed as they should. Because for crying out loud, if you cannot talk over some issues amicably, if you cannot, bend for me and I don't bend for you. My mother used to say the two hands have to cooperate to wash themselves and to become clean. So you are husband and wife, you are like the two hands that you have. You have to cooperate to work. It's true. If this hand says I'm not going to hold a particular thing, you've discovered that some things cannot be held by one hand. So when you cooperate in your relationship, it's like the two hands coming together to wash themselves clean. If you are washing one hand, it will not be as clean as when the two hands are involved. And that's why the Bible says, if two work together, they will have more profit for their labor. And Amos 3:3 says, can two work together except they be agreed? So if you always stand to be right in every conversation, in everything, in your marriage or in your relationship, you are not working together with your spouse. Does that mean that you are not smart? No. If you try to bend over a little bit to accommodate the other person, listen, in every relationship we find ourselves, we are not equally strong in some areas. It's true. Some of us are stronger than our spouses and the people in relationship with us. So you use your strength to strengthen the one that is weak, not to use your strength to dominate, suppress, and oppress and intimidate the other one that is weak. I don't think that's right. Because God brought you people together so that you can complement one another. I know that some of us have stronger characters. Some women have stronger characters than their husbands. And some husbands have stronger characters than their wives. What is expected is that you use your strength to make up for the weakness of your spouse, so that it does not show that your spouse is a problem. But you will gradually strengthen your spouse, and before you know it, the person is coming up. Not for you to say, I'm always right, you're always wrong, you're always doing things wrong, it is my way or the highway. Now that's what it means. When you are always claiming right, you are saying, it is my way or the highway. And you know that the highway is very dangerous in relationships. What happens on the highway? You can't cross the road anyhow on the highway. You will be crushed. People don't feel free and be gisting on the highway. You are focused. So what am I trying to say? Don't take your marriage to the highway. It's dangerous out there. And you just take it easy. Understand the rhythms of one another. Understand the rhythms of one another. When you are always claiming right of way, what came into my heart was, the driving test that we go through for some of us before we started driving. They will tell you your right of way and so on. But even then, even when you want to apply your right of way, you apply wisdom in applying your right of way. Will you say a trailer is coming towards you and because it's your right of way, you will go headlong? No. You will swerve to the corner just to save yourself. So my husband will tell me, madam, when you are driving, you drive for the man in front, you drive for the man at the back, you drive for the man by your side. What is he trying to tell me? Just be responsible enough to protect yourself. Don't claim right of way. So sometimes when we apply that knowledge of driving for the person in front, at the back and at the side, it will make us to be balanced. Can you balance out your relationships? Don't just go head on. It is my way or never. Do you know how many relationships have been broken because of that attitude? It's an attitude. It's a behavioral pattern and it's not healthy. Oh, if you don't say sorry to me, this quarrel will not end. And some people can hold on to issues and they will document the issues every time. Oh my goodness, what are we doing? It's too toxic. It makes relationships so tedious. My goodness. I am saying, and it's the truth. I keep saying, and I will keep saying, relationships are not supposed to be so difficult and so tedious and so stressful as we make them. Remember, God made all things, everything He made beautiful, but great are the inventions of men, such that God became even afraid of man to say, what have I created with my hands? And He repented that He created man. Because we just complicate everything. What am I trying to say on this episode? Stop complicating your relationships. Stop it. Stop it. It's stressing the men out. It's stressing the women out. And when the relationship is stressful, you become even older than your real age. People are celebrating years of marriage, but you know that you are calling the years you have been married, but it's not enjoyable years. Why? Because you spent most of those years arguing and fighting for rights. Are you a freedom fighter? Someone that you love, you can easily lie down for the person now. It's true. When you love people, you don't want to lose them. So most times we go on arguments, and after the arguments, we end up losing the people in relationship with us to gain an argument. What are you gaining? That you were right? And then where is your relationship after that you have claimed that you are right? Or you left your home because you were hurt and because your spouse didn't say sorry to you, or the spouse spoke to you the way you don't like and you don't want to listen to people's counsel to say go back and make peace. He said no, it's either he comes to beg me in my father's house or I will not return. You know how many marriages are broken because of that? Going on the highway, claiming right of way. You ruin friendship, you ruin relationships of different kinds just because you want to always be right. When you're always right, what does that do for you? It makes you to be a champion of what? Because except your relationships are working, you are failing. It's true. You want to see a successful man, not just making money and acquiring properties. Find out the relationships that have endured in that person's life. Find out the person's closest friend. How long has that person known that friend? And how long has that person stayed in that relationship? You can use that to trace the stability of that person. To say this person is a reliable person. This person is a keeper. All right? So claiming right of way always will not bring solutions to your marriage. Will not bring solution to your relationships. I've said on this channel on previous episodes that for my own peace of mind and for the stability and the harmony of my home, I don't claim my rights. I don't claim rights. I just say what I think I need to say, but I leave it on the table. I don't make it look like it's either you take my word or your word does not count. No. Be accommodating. Number one. The first thing you can do to stop this tendency and this character and this behavior in your relationship is to be accommodating. Consider always your better half. Consider the other person. Carry that other person along. Be sure that the person in relationship with you is on board with you. Don't leave the person hanging while you drive off. When you get home, will it be fulfilled that you came home alone and you left your spouse by the roadside? That's what we do. When we say my way or the highway, we leave our relationships behind and we just drive home empty. Always be accommodating. That's one thing you have to do. Number two, be considerate in your decisions, in your actions, how it affects the other person. The way I'm going to take this thing, the way I'm going to stand on this thing, how is it going to affect that person? Listen to me. Always feel the pulse of your partner. Know that your relationship with that person is more important than issues that will arise. Issues will arise, of course. Conflicts will arise, of course. Can you just be focused on the conflict? Find solution to it and don't make it personal. Don't personalize things. Don't take things too serious. In fact, these days, if I'm doing some things, I'll tell myself, Mrs. Soto, it's not that serious. Yeah, sometimes we make some things look so serious. It's not that serious. So. Life is not that complicated. It's the truth. You see people that have peace, you think they are stupid. They cannot argue every day. They cannot claim right. Because they know that if they continue to claim right, they will get your rights, but they will lose their relationships. I watched a program some time ago, and then a man and a woman, elderly people, they were in court actually. And the judge found out that they've been married for about 40 years or so, and he was like, wow, what's the magic? How did it happen? And the man said, all he says is, yes, darling, to whatever his wife says. Yes, darling. Yes, darling, that's all he says. To everything that she says. Does that mean she's controlling him? No. But he has learned not to argue with his wife. For peace sake. Does that mean he's oppressed? No. He has just decided to trust a better judgment concerning things. And does she impose it on him? No. She thinks for him and she thinks for herself. Because sometimes we have to think for our spouses. Some of our spouses cannot say no to any request made of them. But you know that your husband or your wife have that tendency of going overboard. you will help to moderate that person, to cover up for that person whenever it's necessary. So the man says the secret of his longevity in marriage is because he always says, yes, honey. Yes, darling. Whatever she says, we are going to do this. Yes, darling. Perhaps he will say what he feels, but he does not argue to say, it's either you do it the way I want or no way. He says, yes, darling. And listen, sometimes when you just submit to your spouse or the person in relationship with you, doesn't mean that the person will not consider what you have said. You just drop your own opinion. Words are seeds. They don't die. Instead of me arguing, I will say, but can you allow me to express myself? Even if you have made up your mind about this situation or this, issue, even if you have made up your mind that you think you are right, can I just express myself? I'm not trying to counter what it is that you have made up your mind concerning, but can you just hear me out? And then by the time you just speak your mind, that's your perspective. You leave it. The other person would learn. It will affect the person, and the person's decision and behavior will change accordingly, because the person will now accommodate your own perspective. And then you discover that without fighting, what you pointed out has been done, but you did not make it like a big deal. So stop making issues big deal in your relationship. Stop fighting over things that can be spoken about casually and forgotten. Stop making issues out of everything. So another thing you can do going forward is walk out of such conflicts. When you see that it's getting heated and your spouse is not being reasonable, you walk out of that heated conversation. But when you walk out, the person's senses will come down, because you have to help one another. Some people are like that because of their backgrounds. Yeah. Some of these behaviors can be traced to your backgrounds, where they were born, how they grew up. Some people are afraid. They have very frail ego. Your ego is very frail. And admitting that they are wrong is makes them feel they are losing their self-esteem. So they can distort events and situations just to suit themselves. When you discover that your spouse have that tendency, or the person in relationship with you have that tendency, your approach will not be to argue. Your approach will just show understanding and compassion. And then you find a way to just speak softly concerning the issue and not attacking the person to say, this is your behavior that I hate. No, you say, but if you can only hear me out. That is the way you navigate through that person's emotions, and the person will listen to you. But what am I saying generally? This attitude of my way or the highway have destroyed a lot of relationships. And before you know it, like I said, there's a limit to what people can take. And you will drive your spouse crazy. Some men don't come back home because of arguments. Some women are afraid to return back home because of problems. This attitude of my way or the highway, you are not in competition with your spouse. My way or the highway have not helped anybody. Is the truth. Find out. Find out in any relationship. It has not helped anybody. So stop standing on that standpoint of it is either my way or no way. It's a destructive behavior. It destroys relationships over time. And I don't think we should continue on that path. So what am I advocating? Be more accommodating. Be more considerate of your spouse, of your partner, of people in relationship with you. Show empathy. Show understanding, compassion. Considering that you people are not from the same background. And gradually win the person off that attitude by being patient. And stay away from arguments and conflict. Walk away from, discussions that will erupt into something else. Just stay away from it. And please don't take anything personal. So you don't brood on it and the situation gets worsened and your emotions are, affected. I think that if you handle your relationship well, it means you have good emotional intelligence. So if you are always claiming you're right, I don't think it shows emotional intelligence. It shows a distorted behavior, which should not be your case. So I know that I haven't said all this, and many more I would have said, but for time, you would have learned that claiming your way or the highway does not make your relationships good, but it stresses your relationships. It takes away the peace from your relationship. It takes away intimacy from a relationship. It takes away harmony from your relationship, and that's not what you want. Because except there is love, there is understanding, there is peace. Even the presence of God cannot be guaranteed in such an environment. So how can you enjoy your relationship? So please, be at peace with your spouse. Be at peace with people in relationship with you. Listen more to understand people. Allow people to voice their own perspective concerning issues, accommodate people's ideas, and then navigate how you can balance it out. So it will no longer be my way or the highway, because that is a way that leads to destruction, and I don't want you to take that route. Okay, so God bless you. That's all I have for us on this episode. Bless you, God honor you. So please do like this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel, so we continue to be a blessing to as many that comes across this video. This is me saying thank you so much for being here, and God bless you. Bye.